The gallery was founded in 1918 under the name the Eastern Province Society of Arts and Craft. Young men who came from the First World War expressed their trauma through art. Here is where they would eventually exhibit their work. But this gallery may not see its 104th exhibition in September.
Funding is still very generous, but things have become very expensive. And we just can't get through the month. We also find that overheads are becoming very expensive. We now have a water problem because of all the vandalism to the building in the last 2 years. And recently a leak burst through the foundation slab at the back. So we have constant water running. And then the sale of artwork has dropped drastically since COVID. It's very hard to sell art, which is heartbreaking for the artists. So we have to find other ways to encourage them to make the comments that an area needs so desperately by the artists.
88-year-old Derek Erasmus exhibits his work at this gallery, possibly for the last time on this wall before it goes back to storage. He had his first encounter with art tech in 1977. And it was through this institution that he built a name for himself.
When you talk about art, you're not only talking about the artist's enjoyment in creating a work of art. What happens is when a person looks at a work of art, they are reliving what the artist did. It's a spiritual thing. I was talking to my wife earlier. Art doesn't serve a practical purpose. It's not like a spade that you can dig a hole, not like a car that you can drive from A to B. What it does is it does things for people spiritually. If art were to die out and there were no longer any art, people would start dying spiritually.
On the library side of the Nelson Mandela Metropolitan Museum is information and publications on the first 100 years of art tech.
A combination of concern around the old building and leaks and perhaps the documents not being as safe in that space, and also recognizing that maybe the sort of history is here in the museum and that art tech is a kind of a living space, so there was a shift of the archive to this space. Also, the museum and art tech have a very long history. We owe our existence to the artists who started art tech. It was the group of creatives 100 years ago who agitated to the council then that a museum should exist, and so we will always have a very strong relationship with that, with the institution.
Up-and-coming artists feel that closure of the art tech would deprive them of a chance to showcase their work.
Art tech gallery is like bringing a spotlight to our pieces, and also the opportunities to showcase your work. It doesn't matter if it's not bought, but for your work to be out there, it just means a lot, man.
It allows a lot of space for up-and-coming artists, especially new artists who haven't shown work anywhere. So you'd find if you go to another art gallery and you want to exhibit something, they're gonna say, have you exhibited somewhere? Or they'll just tell you have to have had an exhibition somewhere before then.
I feel it's quite important to also not only have social media be the front runner, but also have the physical realm also speak for itself. Because even though we're moving now towards a digital space that is very crucial and rapidly growing, I feel we might just lose the old essence of coming to a gallery in a space where all of us share the same interests and same passion about art.
Art tech still keeps its doors open, hoping for some sales or assistance in keeping history going. Gqeberha, SABC News in Gqeberha.